Yeah, I mean, first, I've never been here. What an event. It's just now when I kind of enter the entire venue, I realized this is e-commerce. Like, everything in here is e-commerce, but I'm going to talk about advertising and brand. And then I thought, like, okay, but will this make sense at all? But I mean, I think we can treat this as a little bit as a commercial break in all the other e-commerce stuff. So welcome to 20 minutes of commercials, right? I am Fredrik Glimskär. I'm from Stockholm. I've been with Motatos since the beginning of this year. And for you who don't know what we're doing, like this is me trying to put together our entire kind of business case into one slide. So fighting food waste in a cheap way. What do we mean with that? I mean, in the end of the day, what we're doing is that we're trying to do something sustainable, right? But in order for sustainability to work, it needs to be affordable in a way. So the entire business idea around Motatos is to find overstock in groceries, stuff that's not going to be sold, stuff that is going to be wasted, and make sure that that doesn't get wasted and sell it to someone who needs it, right? So we're trying to create the cheapest way possible to eliminate food waste. That's the idea in one slide, if you will. Cool. What are we here for? I'm going to talk a little bit about brand positioning. We're going to talk about being afraid of marketing. And of course, I'm going to introduce to you probably the most stupid platform in advertising. So let's start with brand positioning. And at Motatos, like regardless of what we do, branding or if it's purchase or whatever, we need to start here. This is our customer. Like I truly believe that regardless of what you do, there's probably tons of different talent in here, right? But everyone probably starts somewhere here with a customer. We do. So who is our customer and what is the customer struggle? Like what's the real life of this person when we talk about sustainability? Our everyday life, especially for me as well, I mean, it's this, like, shit, recycling. I need to get on top of that. Like I really need to partake in this in order to create a better future. Expiration dates, like, can I eat this? Am I a bad person if I'm throwing it away? Like, how will this work for me? Is this legal to throw away? Or, travel. I flew here. Can I do that? Will people judge me? Transportation, do I have to sell my car and buy an electric? Are the electric vehicles good for the future? Or is it still cool to drive around in my diesel? Like, I don't know. Like, all these things taken together is pretty exhausting. Serious things, absolutely. I'm not trying to say anything else, but as the little individual, as the customer that we just saw, like this could be super exhausting. So our idea, talking about this person, is rather not thinking that you should be the solution to food waste. You should go out and you should change the world. That can't be it. Like, how do we encourage 200 million people to do something for food waste? Maybe we could swap this around. So from a brand perspective, this is more interesting for us. Okay, so what can we do for you in terms of doing something good for the planet, in terms of doing something good at all? Like, is there anything as a brand that we can do for you? So when kind of swapped this thing, started to be like, okay, if this is the primary focus of what we do, like what could be an idea, what could be a statement? Then all of a sudden we realize this: we cannot be the hero you want, but the hero you need. I'm not sure if you guys are as in love with Batman as I did. This is a quote from a Batman film, but it's also our insight to a lot of things. And what we mean with this is, as soon as there's a need for a hero to fight something bad, then probably no one wished for that hero in the beginning. So we see food waste as something that needs to be taken care of, That's why we're the hero that no one wanted from the beginning, or we're not expected at all. This is super important for us as a brand to understand, like, okay, if we can reach this state, if this is the mindset of our customer, then they will perceive us as something else. Then they will perceive us as something, like people that are actually a brand that is actually doing something for them, right? That was the beginning of this thing. So, there's not a lot of numbers in this presentation, guys, I'm just saying it, but there's gonna be one number, and it's this number, number 2. So there's a 2-step plan for us to become the hero that you don't want, but the hero you need, right? First step, we need to make sure you like us. Why is that? Why is that important? I think, you know, we need to create a relationship in the beginning. Like, so in every hero story there is, in the beginning, there's a normal person that people know for some other reason. I think Spider-Man is someone in school, right? Just a regular guy that people kind of like, right? So it's important to establish some sort of relationship. Otherwise, you will never trust us when we become the hero that you need, right? So first thing, we need you just to like us. And then second step, now we can become the hero you need. Easy, right? So let's talk about this. This is marketing. This is branding. In the end of the day, this is like, there's so like this. It's interesting how many people that work with this question every day. I'm one of them. Like, how do you even get people to like you as a brand? Like, there's tons of different strategies for it. There's probably as many ways to do this as there are creative directors in the world, I guess. We have an approach to this one that I want you to get inspired by it, and I want you to maybe, if you're not doing this already, maybe challenge the way that you think about marketing and think about relationships and branding. So, let's start with the strategy, right? So for us, you know, a strategy can be many things, right? Internally for us, it's about not being afraid of marketing. And what do I mean with that? Marketing is super scary. So basically what you do is that you go in a room and you have this great idea for next year and you create something around it and you book tons of media and it's a huge investment, and then you push play. And then everyone sits like this and just wish for the best to happen, right? Realizing, like, do we want that? Can we do this differently? Is that really the bet we want to place once every year? No, maybe we can do something different. So this we didn't even create this strategy. This strategy is created by a TikToker called Courtney. So I'm gonna let her take the stage for now and just explain what we're trying to do.
13-year-old kid from Ohio with nothing more than an iPhone 6 and a 7th grade education is going viral on TikTok, while your 46-year-old MBA-educated strategic marketing media advisor / advertising industry executive Canes winner can't crack 100 views. This is why brands suck on social. You're trying too hard. Stop making your social media team and the creators and influencers you work with jump through so many hoops. Literally throw away your expert copywriter, data-backed influencer scripts. Chuck it out the fucking window. And hear me out, there is absolutely a place for brainstorming and structure and approvals and whatever. Well-planned content calendar is important, a strategy is important, but all the brands I work with, they all get so caught up in like perfect branding, perfect approvals, perfect whatever, that it really limits the authenticity of what you can put out there. Perfect process dulls like any spirit of authenticity. And all that's left is a dull ass piece of media that's sucked through the funnel. Your overly streamlined process that rips out any soul, and your audience can tell. Biggest difference between your creative director and that 13-year-old kid is not the ideas, it's the process. That kid's process is like, haha, funny, I'll post it. But your process is, first we'll do the trend insight meeting, and then we'll use our data analysis to see what is trend performing best, and then we will match that against all of these then we need approval from the brand manager, the sales team, the legal team, janitorial team, the executive team, my cousin's basketball team, and finally Jesus himself. People are so damn afraid of being authentic. Crazy to see how brands have these filters of like, we have to make this perfect, and then wonder why their campaigns don't get results.
So why their campaigns don't get results? I mean, in the end of the day, I know like, another millennial telling the world how to do things. But in the end of the day, I mean, there is some truth to this. So we kind of got stuck in the thought of like, yeah, I mean, she's pointing out all the mistakes that you usually do in brand and marketing. So what if we try something different? And I'm gonna walk you a little bit through the dilemma of branding and the dilemma of creating stories, right? So we have an idea, we're a brand, and this is why marketing can be scary. That idea needs to work here. The same idea needs to work on a Saturday night here. The same idea needs to work when you're in rush to work here. The same idea needs to work in a park, someone reading a paper. The same idea and the same story needs to work while listening to radio when you're driving your car. The same idea lives here. That is a lot of pressure on one bet, right? So, our idea is to own a story, not a campaign. And this is the difference. Like, we don't believe in that one campaign everywhere will make sense for you where you are in life, right? The mindset of you on the subway is not the same mindset that you have when you're visiting the cinema with your friends. It's two completely different worlds, right? So, what is a story? So, owning a story and not a campaign starts here, basically. You need to have a story. You need to have an idea of what you want to say and what you want people to understand with your brand, right? Then that story, you should think like, okay, what do we need to do with this story in order for it to work for people visiting the cinema, paying expensive ticket, like we're there interrupting something that they're paid for, right? Maybe it's a European Championship. Like, this is two completely different things, right? So this is a completely different mindset. Maybe the beers are out and chips and everything, and all of a sudden there's a brand there telling a story. It needs to make sense for that specific media and environment. Same thing here. I told, like, when we're on the way to work or home from work, we're stressed, we're tired, whatever. Like, you need to understand that placement, and maybe you should do something different. Newspaper, we talked about that. Radio ad, you're driving your car, it needs maybe to be told in a different way, right? And in the end of the day, this is where you tell your story, and this is where the story will always live, right? So we need to understand this entire thing. So this is our approach. So we have one story to tell, but we can tell it in many different ways. So we're authentic to the platform, and we're doing something that is authentic, if you will, or true to the mindset that you're in, while wherever you are. Let's get into the concept, right? Okay, so what is our concept? Our concept is, it's stupid being stupid. So where did this start? So this started with the idea that I think, like, if you guys are in marketing or work closer with your marketing teams, encourage them to think like this. So who wants marketing? No one really. Like, when I'm a private person, do I really want advertising and marketing? Maybe not. Maybe I want everything to be, ad-free. So, okay, but let's start there. What is the place on earth where you would hate a marketing placement the most? So we had this one idea, like, imagine you standing in like a national park, just embracing, watching the view. What if someone placed a billboard in front of that entire view? Ruin it for you. If your concept works in that billboard, then it's a great story. This is our billboard. Wasting a great view is stupid, so is wasting great food. So when we did this, all of a sudden we realized, like, what would happen if I were actually here? I wouldn't, maybe it's okay, they're doing something. So when we created this billboard, this was just like the start of the creative process. We realized, like, maybe we're onto something. Maybe being stupid is something that people can relate to. Maybe being stupid is something that we can communicate in a way so it makes sense for us. And then the second question was, is there anything more stupid than wasting food? Because in the end of the day, that's what we're doing, right? We're encouraging people and companies and ourselves not to waste food. So this is where it all started. So let's look at a few results. So now we're kind of going into the commercials. It's not, I love watching advertising. I'm not sure if you do, but hopefully you sit comfortable, because I'm going to talk a little bit and we're going to watch ads, right? Cool. So TV, right? We know that we want to tell the story of doing something stupid, but nothing is more stupid than wasting great food. How do we do that for TV? This was the idea.
Jemanden so zu feiern ist schon ziemlich dumm. Lebensmittel verschwenden. Noch viel dümmer. Vor allem bei diesen Preisen. Entdecke die besten Deals auf motatos.de oder mit der Motatos App.
So the creative idea here is to always kind of be like, what is the that idea here was that, okay, so if you have to let someone go at the workplace or firing someone, what would be the most stupid way to do that? And eventually someone said, yeah, you know, with a puppet. Okay, but then that's the commercial, right? You're breaking up with someone. Like, if you can't do it yourself, what would be the most stupid way?
Du machst Schluss?
Sich so zu trennen, ist schon ziemlich dumm. Lebensmittel verschwenden. Noch viel dümmer.
Hiring a meme to do the breakup for you is definitely something that is stupid.
Entdecke die besten Deals
So when we're
auf
looking at this,
motatos.de
right, so
oder mit der
now we
Motatos
have
App.
Now we have a story for TV. So we have a tons of this coming out. I think one of these are already live on TV here. So that's for TV. Great. We need to create something that is for the TV environment. Like, but if we're going in a different ad placement, as I talked about, like, okay, can we say the same story in a subway? Probably not. Who cares about a breakup? Like, maybe that's not for us. Okay, but if you're just looking at the medium, what is the most stupid thing a marketing team could do? Buying subway billboards. Probably this. This is from Stockholm. So we managed to waste the entire space. Like, these placements, they're expensive, but wasting great advertising space is stupid. But you know what? So is wasting great food. So all of a sudden, it makes sense for us, right? Print, same thing here. Wasting this ad on saying absolutely nothing important is stupid, so is wasting great food at really low prices. So it's about trusting that the story that you have to tell about stupidity will conquer everything else. It's different kind of ads, but they all come back to the same sort of idea, right? YouTube, I would say, like, going down in the marketing funnel, this progressively becomes more stupid. So bear with me now. I'm not completely crazy, but some of the ads are. I'm not. YouTube, so what is the strategy for YouTube, and why will people listen to what you have to say on YouTube? You need to understand what they're looking at. So the process here is basically to vacuum YouTube and try to understand the content and try to understand what the worst version of that content would be. One thing that is big on YouTube is mindfulness and yoga, right? So what would be the worst sort of yoga? Probably angry yoga.
And just breathe in and out and feel relaxed and connected to the world like I am at the moment, okay? So just breathe in and out. And that concludes the session for today. So go home and off. Thank you. Namaste.
Completely different ad, but it's stupid, right? So it's us. Yeah, I mean, this is also trying to understand what's going on YouTube, and this is, you know, this sort of channels where people are telling you how to live your life and how to do things the right way. So let's do something with it. Like, this is us telling you why you should skip an ad on YouTube.
Okay, guys, you're here. You see the ad. You know what it's for. Good food, good prices. So what are you still doing here? Just skip. Skip the ad. You don't need to be here anymore. Don't be stupid. Skip, 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 skip. What are you still watching for? Skip, skip, skip. Just do it. Just press the skip button.
So what is important here is as well to understand that, like, do people want ads? No, we're on your side. Skip the ad. You already know what it's about, right? So give that sort of true meaning to the audience. That is something that we talk about a lot. Okay, we even felt like on Meta, there's almost no rules left here when it comes to branding and advertising. This is quite crazy. But I mean, like, let's look at some of the examples, right? So what we're trying to understand here is that, okay, the content that lives on these platforms, how can we do this, and how can we play with it? So this is what happened when you have your CEO's 14-year-old gaming nephew do a commercial for you. So it's stupid to hire. Don't do it. It's stupid to hire your CEO's nephew to do your online commercial.
What's up, guys? Let's save the world! Jeep. Oh my God!
It's stupid, but not as stupid as wasting great food, right? What? This is maybe us stretching it a bit, fine, but, you know, we need to do that in order to iterate and optimize and understand. I'm not sure if this is just, you know, me, but like Meta is filled of this kind of weird erotic games ads. Hands up, okay, don't know, okay, not hands up because I've seen it. So can we do that into an ad? Can we be authentic to that sort of platform and ad? Maybe. Right? It's about being authentic to the platform and tell your story so it makes sense for where the audience is in their mindset. You know, this, let's go.
But not as stupid as wasting great food.
It's stupid being stupid.
Det är sådär man klipper sina barn.
Men snälla, vad fan?
But not as stupid as wasting great food.
It's stupid being stupid.
So why is this different? Okay, so maybe if you're in marketing and you're saying this, you might be like, but everything is different, right? Yeah, but that's the bet you're placing. That's what you want to do because you want to be authentic to the platform. You will want to be able to iterate more than once a year, right? And you want to trust that the concept of doing stupid things is what will bring it in the end, right? It's about realizing where your audience is at the moment. So I think, you know, we haven't done this, but I encourage, like, use this ad if you want. Wasting your Insta feed with this ad is stupid, so is wasting great food at low prices. It's about being on the right side of the customers, because in the end of the day, we want them to like us, because then we can become the hero that they need. So, I mean, I know that you're in e-com, and maybe not working with brands and creative every day, so maybe I did waste your time. Not sure if that was stupid. Well, not as stupid as wasting great food. Thank you, guys.
First of all, I want to start with one. What is the takeaway message that, like, using your concept, well, not your concept, but your approach for other brands? Like, I mean, you have a special status. You are already saving food. That makes you already sympathy. What if you have more serious brands or like supposedly serious brands? How would your approach be?
No, but I think for us, maybe I mentioned it in the beginning, but there's tons of different ways to talk about sustainability and talk about food waste, right? And our approach has been like clear since we were founded in 2014, that this needs to be, in order for people to listen to it, it needs to be light. Like, are we really that serious player, or should we be something else, right? And what we noticed, like, throughout is that if we can have a light approach to what we're doing, people tend to listen to that a bit more, because they tend to see you as more of a friend rather than a brand or an organization saying, this is dangerous, don't do this. So that's the overall approach to the tone of voice, if you will.
Do you see any downsides of this? I mean, now you're the brand that is like doing stupid things in order to show how stupid everything else is.
The downside would be if you couldn't change anything, right? So the upside with it, and also I think the upside of why I would encourage people to in-house a creative team, is that you can work differently with advertising and marketing. You don't have to rely on a big delivery from an agency. You can iterate the assets as you go, right? So if you see that something is like, oh, maybe we took it too far here, okay, but then it's easy to change that and swap that. So it's about an always-on approach to iterate and find that sort of thing that eventually moves the needle.
I'm trying to stick to the prepared questions, so I improvise with my own questions. I try one here. What are some of the operational challenges Motatos faces in its business model, and how are they addressed?
The operational challenges. I mean, I have a front row of people that can answer that. No, but I think honestly, I mean, what we're doing is that we're buying overstock, right? So the challenge here is we don't know what the overstock is next week or 2 weeks from now. So we're working with an ever-changing assortment. And from a customer's perspective, how do they relate to that? Like, okay, so let's say that I bought something 1 week, and then I'm coming back and buying it again, and it's not there because it's in 2 weeks from now, because we can't control our assortment as maybe other players can do, because we're buying overstock. However, I think from a relationship side of things, like when our customer learns that and learns what we're doing for the greater good, they tend to shift their behavior to being like, but that's okay, you know? I can purchase this instead of that because I know that this is something good. This is something that is saved, right? So I would say that's the biggest challenge, because you're so used to that. In December in Stockholm, where I'm from, you can walk into a store and buy avocados. Like if there's no avocados, you freak out, right? So that's the kind of the consumer behavior that we can't follow in that same way.
Like what I took out of this for myself is like, you didn't start like as the TikTok showed, like you didn't say, oh, what's the thumb stop ratio, or what are gonna be the performance measures on this. You started with the story. Yeah. Is that correct? And is that something you would generally advise?
There's many ways that you can work with communication and advertising, right? But I think internally we'll be like, if we don't have a story to tell, like what will the numbers eventually, like where would we start, right? So I think for us it's more of like, what do we believe that if people understands this about us, then it will be good, right? So it starts with a story, but then after that it's definitely a number game. That's the thing with this sort of setup, is that we're taking down, we're iterating, we're optimizing, we grow. It's almost like building a product. It's not like you're building a product and then you never touch it again. And this sort of engine has the same approach, basically.